Hi, my name is Ruth and today I'm going to be talking to you about what you can do with this, your kitchen waste, which really is something that you can use in your own garden to increase the nutrient value of your soils. So here I have the kitchen waste from my family from this morning's breakfast, and you can see that there's orange peel, passion fruit, strawberry, some newspaper, untreated newspaper, and some clippings from where I've gone and deadheaded some things this morning. So what I think we can do today is make a compost tube. A compost tube is a different sort of compost system where you have the compost in direct contact with the soil, so you don't have to take it out of the compost unit and spread it around. It's definitely a time-saving thing, and it makes sure that all the nutrients are in your garden where you need them and not in landfill. Let's go and have a look at the different materials we'll be using today. Okay, so our materials today are pretty simple. You need gloves, very important. We've got a 1.5 metre length of 225 pipe. We've got a threaded socket as well as a threaded cap. We also have a ruler or tape measure, drill with a 38mm hole saw on it, handsaw, level. We've got clear primer and clear glue to glue everything together. We have a screwdriver and something to mark the pipe with. Now we'll go over to the location where we're going to install the pipe, and I'll talk to you about the hole. We're going to get some compost worms from a friend's garden, but today we found this little wriggler that we'll be putting into our compost tube. So here we have my assistant Brent digging a hole, which is where our compost tube is going to go. You can see that it's about 1/2 metre deep and just a little bit wider than the pipe. One way to check if the hole is big enough is to see whether your small child actually fits into it, but another far more accurate way is to actually look at the PVC pipe. With the PVC pipe, pick it up and put the cut end in the hole. And then make a small mark on the side of the pipe. When you're drilling your holes, it's important that you do not drill any holes above this line, otherwise they'll show above the soil level. You can also check the height to make sure that you're easily going to be able to take off the lid and put the food scraps in. And remember, it's going to be 80mm taller once you put the cap on and the socket. So we've moved our pipe onto a flat surface and we've got our helpers holding it steady. You can see where we marked the ground level, and what we're going to do is mark at 10cm centres a dot which will be the middle of our hole. So after we've marked our centres, we'll grab the hole saw and then carefully begin to drill into the PVC pipe. Once you've drilled the first row, you will rotate the pipe and then mark your second row. And what you'll try and do is stagger the holes. And then you just continue to do this until the whole pipe is done. So there we have all of our holes drilled and we're ready for the next step. So after you have drilled all of the holes, place it in position and use the level to ensure that it's nice and straight. Once you're happy that it's straight, backfill the hole to hold it steady. Check in as you go to make sure that it remains level. Use your hands to firm down the soil. Give it one final check. So here is our pipe, nice and straight. Now we're ready for gluing on the fittings. So the first thing you need to do is grab some of your clear primer and wipe it on the inside of the socket. And then on the outside of the pipe. After the primer is done, you grab your clear glue and liberally coat the inside of the socket. And then apply a good covering of glue to the outside of the pipe. Push the socket firmly onto the pipe and push down. With the socket, push it over the pipe until the pipe hits the rim. It'll set pretty quickly, but make sure that you remove any dribbles from the outside of the pipe to ensure that you have a neat finish. So now the tube is ready to start filling with our compost. First, we're going to put in the compost. We do have quite a big tube here, but sometimes you have to use your hands. And then we're going to put in our worms on top. If the soil was dry, it's also worthwhile just to give it a little bit of a hose with some water to make sure that it's nice and moist. And then we can put on our lid. Okay, so here is our finished compost tube. We put all of our kitchen waste in here, plus a small amount of paper and garden clippings, and the worms do the rest. They take all of that goodness out into the surrounding soil, and I never have to dig in the compost or spread it around the garden.